Hello, and welcome to another episode of Sunshine Sessions, where we have conversations with Central Florida's community leaders. I'm Evelyn Alicea, and today I'm with Tony Boni, the one and only Tony Boni, with Tradebank Orlando. Welcome, Tony.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Yes, we're happy to have you. Tradebank, tell us about Tradebank.
Tradebank is a unique business. In today's economy, businesses are struggling and looking for alternative ways to grow their business. So we've taken the oldest form of currency, barter, and we brought it down from the Fortune 500s businesses. We've organized it and now offering it to small business where you don't have to trade directly with the person you're trading with. So if your product costs $100, you earn $100 in trade dollars. So in essence, what we're helping small businesses do is save cash, add more clientele by being able to purchase what they need for their business at their wholesale cost. It's a very cool business.
That is very
model.
cool.
Yeah.
How did you get into this?
Well, I was a good friend of mine has been in barter for many, many years, and I kind of helped him out with his business, and didn't expect anything. And he, one day handed me this Monopoly money, and he goes, "Go to that restaurant." And I'm like looking at this, going, "Well, what's this going to do for me?" And I went to the restaurant, and I'm like, "Here you go." And they're like, "Oh, yes, sir." And
They knew what to do.
they took off the money, and I'm like, "Oh, wow, this is pretty cool." And he just would pay me in restaurants, and it was great. And then I learned a little bit more about it, and I said, well, maybe there's a way I can become part of this. Maybe do a consulting business for trade businesses, people on trade, and help them out like I helped him out. And he says, well, why don't you just buy one? Here's, my buddy selling his. And I looked into it, and one thing led to another. Next thing you know, I'm in Atlanta speaking to the CEO of Tradebank, and here I am. It was about a 3-year process before I pulled the trigger. And unfortunately, everything was set up and done, and then 3 days later, the world decided to shut down for COVID.
Oh my God.
So it's kind of, I had this great concept, and I just put it up on a shelf and let it sit there for a little bit until we got through COVID.
Wow.
And then I reignited it.
Wow. So you heard about this through a friend,
Yep.
learned a little bit more about it, and then went and just got started.
I got started with it. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
Tradebank is a franchise, so they have a
Okay.
good system behind it, just like all franchises. And you follow the system, and it grows from there.
So they've streamlined.
Well, you have, they got 60% of the hard work done for you. You got to
Okay.
put the 40% in, and that's going out and talking to the
Talking to people.
businesses and talking to people, which I love to do.
No, I can't tell.
No, I mean,
You're a real people person.
Yeah, so that was the genesis of it. And then in 21, March of 21, I just took it off the shelf, dusted it off, and started playing around with it, and started enjoying it. And I've had a great time for the last couple of years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So is this sort of like a membership base?
Yes. Okay. So you belong to the Tradebank membership and all the businesses. So it's not just, you don't silo yourself with just Orlando.
Okay.
We're from Virginia all the way down throughout the Southeast with over 6,000 members. So if you're traveling in Atlanta, we have an app, and it says, show Tradebank near me, and it's going to pop up on the map, and then you hit it. Oh, there's a restaurant, 2 blocks away. Let's go grab some lunch, and then you can pay with your trade dollars through your app. So we've really made it easy for people to take advantage of the trade and barter process. And it's like I said, I'm not here to replace your cash business. I'm here to add a different revenue stream, allowing you to get things that you already spend cash on at your wholesale cost. So it's a tough concept, but once people get involved with it and they start trading, and and bartering their services and getting services back, it clicks for them, and then
Right.
they realize, you're right. I call it a tool in your tool bag for your
Right.
business. It's just one tool,
Right.
barter. You know, there's many tools to operate a small business, but this is
Sure.
just one tool that most people don't know about. And once they get into it, they really understand this is beneficial.
Yeah, sure. And
Yeah.
then it becomes addictive.
Yes, to
Then you
some.
go, wait, let's see what's
To some. I mean, I have one client. He belongs to multiple trade exchanges, barter
Okay.
exchanges, and if I were to guess, he probably has a $500,000 in trade dollars.
Oh my
And
gosh.
he loves cars, so he searches cars throughout the nation on trade. He buys them, ships them in, cleans them up, and then turns around and sells them for cash. And that's his hobby,
That's
you know.
amazing.
And yeah, it is. It's you know, so people have made you know, they've grown their business, and then people have started businesses by getting involved with trade and then turning it into a cash business. So pretty cool.
So, by the way, you might get some noise in our background because we are actually taping this right in front of, or right behind, Historic Cigars in historic downtown Longwood, where history is being made. Because we're talking to the Tony. Tony.
Yes,
Tony.
the one and only.
The one and only. So, Tony, tell us what industry does this particular service benefit the most?
Well, I mean, it benefits across the board, you know, from service industry to the restaurant industry, to anyone, you know, a lot of people have popped up businesses in their homes where, you know, someone with a 3D printer can start making things, but
Yeah.
then turn around and they can sell them on trade. And it's not just here locally. You got to think bigger, and you know, you can ship out. You know, if it's a product that's shippable, you want to, you know, advertise that out to all the trade bank members. But the top three areas of trading is advertising, travel, and of course restaurants.
Restaurants.
And you know, so you're a small business, you might not have the cash flow to be able to afford advertising in a local magazine, but when you have trade dollars and
Yeah.
that $1,000 ad is costing you really $300 to advertise, now you're taking your trade dollars and publishing and advertising your business, which is going to drive cash business back in. So that's the real benefit of trading, is when you can utilize those trade dollars to bring in the cash business and convert trade to cash.
So, Tony, take us through the steps to trade.
Well, it's you're a small business. So let's say you're a law firm and you exchange your legal services and you get some trade dollars. And then you want to have a company gathering, so you go and you look up one of the restaurants, say, hey, I want to bring, you know, my staff for lunch. And then you take your trade dollars, you bring your staff to the restaurant, and the restaurant, you know, and you call me up, or they use their app, and let's say it's $100, and I transfer that money from the law firm to the restaurant. And then the restaurant goes, wow, I need this electrical outlet replaced. So he calls me up. I get him in touch with my electrician. The electrician comes out, replaces the electrical outlet, and from the restaurant, $100 trade dollars goes to the electrician. And then the electrician wants to go on vacation, and he calls me up and says, hey, I want to take my wife, you know, somewhere. And I said, I got this great 5-day, 4-day vacation, 5-day, 4-night vacation in Cancun. You know, and he's like, that's perfect. So then we do the transaction, and he books his trip, and he takes his wife to Cancun. And that's kind of how the cycle of the trade dollars moves around. You need to have a product to earn the trade dollars to be able to participate and get and buy the services that you need. There's nothing that, you know, hey, I'm a member, and all of a sudden you have all these trade dollars in your account. You actually, it's no different when you start your business, whether it's cash or trade. You got to have something that's sellable to earn that cash to be able to pay your bills and everything. Except this is a little different because we're not talking about keeping the lights on. We're not talking about paying that employee.
Right.
We are strictly talking about, for a restaurant, it's the old adage, why have an empty table getting zero money when I can fill that with a trade bank member and get $100 worth of trade?
Sure.
What would you rather have? Well, I'd rather have at least $100 in trade.
Right.
And now you can leverage that trade dollars to, instead of paying cash, now you're paying trade dollars
Right.
for that item or service, whatever it is. Same thing with hotels. They want to put beds and heads.
Right.
Beds and heads. Heads and beds.
That'd be interesting.
Yes. Yeah, I got a bed in my head. But so they would rather, instead of having a room empty, because every room has a cost,
Right.
no matter what, of $40 a day, because that's what it costs them to have that room clean. So why not put them in for $100 in trade and offset some of those costs? And then larger organizations can use their trade dollars for employee incentives.
Right.
I mean, they get here, it's called an affiliate, and you can take your trade dollars from your company and transfer it to your employee's account, and they can use it however they want, or you can buy them gift cards or buy them, whatever's on trade, dental service. If you don't have health care, why not? I'm working on bringing on different healthcare components for the small business. It's like I can't offer you healthcare, but what I can do is, you need your teeth cleaned. I got a dentist and it's on trade, and now you transfer that, and that becomes just like income to the employee.
Sure.
And
sure.
the employee, it's
a savings.
It's a great program that, again, you got to get involved with it to understand it, to really maximize the benefit from it. And I'm telling you, I'm probably, 7 out of 10 go gangbusters, and then the 3 just, it's more of not understanding it. It's
Right.
the want to understand. They're just like, and I get it. People are real nervous right now.
Yeah.
Cash is king.
Yeah.
And you have to be careful with that. But they're, well, how do I save cash? Well, okay, that plate of food cost you sold it for $10, but it really only cost you $2.50.
Right.
So that $10 worth of electrical work you got then really only cost you $2.50. So you saved $7.50 in cash.
Right.
And it takes some time for people to understand that. So trade is very much an educational sell. I have to educate my clients. And then when they take that leap of faith with me, once they're in, and we're working together, then it's off to the races from there.
I got you. You mentioned that advertising, travel, and restaurants are the top 3. But I love what you were just, tell us a little bit more about some of the ways you're expanding into other industries that have not been in those, that are those 3.
You got to understand, this program works best in that small business, individual business. It doesn't work with, a chain or a medical group or anything like that, because there's too many layers of people getting paid out. So you want that solopreneur dentist that is looking for an additional 10 clients, and he's willing to take on 10 clients for, the dental work. Chiropractor. I got a great chiropractor that, he limited it to 5 clients, and he has his 5 clients. I have a gym that, what a great benefit. He's limited it to 5 clients. And the key was, you want to bring in as much trade that you can comfortably spend.
Right.
And unless there's something specific that you want to do. So I have a brewery that is saving up his trade dollars because he wants to advertise in the local magazine and drive more business to his brewery. And the best way of advertising is through trade, because it's not cheap, but at your wholesale cost, it makes it palatable. But if he just gets 3-4 clients to come into the brewery off of the advertising, it more than paid for itself.
Correct.
And that's the piece that people really have to grab onto. And once they get that system in their head and understand it, then they're off to the races. And then it's, then you got people calling me, hey, can you get me this? And I'm like, Okay, let's be a little bit more realistic. You know,
Yeah.
I need a delivery van. Can you get me a delivery van? Well, yes, but it's those opportunities when they pop up and I see them, I send that out to my people. You got to jump on it because it's not like there's delivery vans just
Popping
available.
up every
But
day.
you know, every now and then, you know, we had a distributor in Georgia upgrade all like 15 of his vans, and he's like, "Well, what am I going to do with all these old vans? He didn't trade them in, and they were high miles, and put them on trade, and sold all 15 vans on trade."
It's
And
amazing.
I mean, it was a great
Wow.
opportunity.
Yeah.
I had another company in Alabama. They wanted to do a huge advertising campaign, so he took $2 million worth of brand new AC units because that was his advertising campaign, and moved that. And I sold 11 AC units, you know, to people down here in Orlando and Florida.
Wow.
So you're buying this, you know, what would normally cost maybe cash wise $6,500, $7,000 cash unit for about $8,500 trade, and then you just got to pay the local guy cash to
To
install it.
install it. Yeah.
I mean, that's a great deal. And those opportunities, that was a everyone jumped on it. Oh well, my AC's working, but it's really old. But I'm going to take advantage of this and get a new one. And if you had the $8,000, $9,000 in trade, you did it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so great things can happen, but you have to be in tune to take advantage of it.
So Tony, how does someone get started trading?
It's real simple. You know, just visit my website, orlando.tradebank.com.
Okay.
Look at the information that's on there, and there's a little button that says join now. And that gives me all the information, and that's emailed to me, and I will contact you and answer any questions that you have and explain the process. And typically I like doing that over coffee, but it's that simple. You know, click join now at orlando.tradebank.com and you're off to the races.
Great. Do you have any events coming up? Any collaborations?
Well, I do have at where we're sitting right now at Historic Cigars on October 21st. We are throwing a charity poker tournament for Seminole County for Scouts, and
Oh,
all the proceeds are going to go to those Scout troops to get a new trailer and some camping equipment.
that's great. You said
Yeah,
it was October 21st?
October 21st, right here at Historic Cigars in historic downtown Longwood.
Excellent. Tony, why don't you tell our viewers if you have any specials for them if they mention Park Bench?
If you mention Park Bench and you go to my website and give me your information and you decide to join with me, I will give you a 50% discount on the initial membership, one-time lifetime membership fee, which is a great deal. So come try it out. If it doesn't work for you, we'll shake hands, we'll part friends, and we'll continue doing business together.
Not too shabby, 50% off.
Yeah.
Tony, tell our viewers where they can find you again.
You can find me at orlando.tradebank.com. That's orlando.tradebank.com.
Great. Thank you so much, Tony, for all of your trading needs. Contact Tony. For any of your real estate needs, questions that you may have, reach out to me directly. I'm Evelyn Alicea, and I'm with eXp Realty. My number is 407-340-8154. Thanks so much for watching.